Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We are here today with the bright minds behind HeliSwap. My name is Christoph. I'm from Mantra, and I will be hosting this AMA. So why don't we jump right in, and could everyone please introduce themselves? Maybe Max, starting with you.
Yeah, I'm Max. I lead the strategy and operations at HeliSwap. I've been involved with many things surrounding the DEX that we have launched, from business development to cooking out the Lockdrop one, which we're going to talk about more later. I'm from Germany, and I'll pass it on to you.
Okay, that's very good. So we're not only neighbors when we're sitting, we also come from neighboring countries. I'm from Austria. My name is Andre. I am focusing on a lot of things together with Ainsley and Max on HeliSwap, and mainly making sure that everything is working smoothly and that everyone has a good experience when they use our various features and tools and whatnot on our website. Pass it on to Ainsley.
So, hi everyone. This is Ainsley, and we all based in Hong Kong, and I'm also from Hong Kong. So I look after the marketing and partnership and relationship. So if anyone out there is like building something on DeFi, you can reach out and we could, collab for that. And we are building on Hedera.
Perfect. Thank you for introductions, everyone. So I guess for those who may not have heard about HeliSwap, could you give just a brief overview of what it is?
Yeah, sure. So HeliSwap is a joint venture between Mantra and LimeChain. LimeChain is a really strong tech partner for us. And the two companies together received a grant from the HBAR Foundation, which is closely knit to Hedera itself, so the DLT that we have built on. But Andre is going to share more on that as well. And we essentially launched a DEX on Hedera, which contains all the basic DEX features that you may imagine, from swapping between tokens to staking and yield farming. And we launched on October 6th. We currently have close to $8 million in TVL on the DEX, and we are thriving and working really hard to build out this DeFi project, add new features, etc. So this is our current status.
Cool. And for those who have not heard about the network that HeliSwap is built on, Hedera, can you share a little bit more about the network and how it's different from others?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's start by talking about what is Hedera, or Hedera is also called Hedera Hashgraph. It was invented by Dr. Lehman-Berg. And it is, like Max already said, a DLT, which stands for Distributed Ledger Technology. What in essence means is there are a lot of different computers out in the world that have a copy of a database that contains all the transactions that are happening on that particular distributed ledger technology. Unlike blockchains out there, it is somewhat similar to a blockchain, but it is not a blockchain per se, because just as the technology works, it doesn't chain blocks onto each other, so it is not a blockchain. And it also uses a different kind of consensus mechanism, which was also invented and coined by Dr. Lehman-Berg. And it is called the Gossip of Gossip protocol. That is just, in essence, he thought about what is the fastest way that information spreads, and that is gossip. So he just used this kind of mechanism to promote this entire distributed ledger technology. But that is more on the tech side of things. I think from a user perspective and also from a business perspective, what is more interesting is that this network has been backed by, and also actively is being used by, a lot of big companies out there. I think most recently, I think yesterday, Dell also announced that they're on the governing council. So they have Google, Deutsche Bank, they have a few universities on their governing council. And one fun fact on the side is that I think you need like a market cap of 10 billion US dollars in terms of market cap in order to be part of this governing council. So all the companies out there have really tested and played around with the network and are actively doing a lot of transactions out there. And only recently it has opened up for its smart contract capabilities for the retail users, which is where basically we're coming into play right now. And with smart contract capabilities, we were able to build out the DEX that Max mentioned and make it usable for everyone that is not necessarily a $10 billion market cap company. I hope that sums it a bit up.
Yeah, no, that was great. Thank you for the overview. So I guess we'll jump right into the highlight of this AMA. So as you saw by the title, we are going to discuss the Lockdrop. So for those who have not heard of a Lockdrop before, could you run through what a Lockdrop is?
Yes, sure. Thank you. That's a good introduction. So we have, as some of you may know, if you've already read on HeliSwap, is we're not just a DEX, but we're also launching a DAO. And in order to successfully launch a DAO, you need to launch your token as decentralized and as community-driven as possible. I know Mantra, if you guys are listening in, you know a lot about being a member or being part of a DAO through also the OHM token. So essentially, we wanted to find an approach to launch our token in a community-driven, fair, and decentralized way. So after considering several options, we decided to opt for a Lockdrop, which basically just means that we're removing a lot of friction. So in order to participate in the Lockdrop, there's no geographic restrictions, there's no SAFT agreements, there's no minimum ticket sizes that are required. So essentially, we are allowing people from different backgrounds, different investment amounts, etc., to participate in the Lockdrop, which also helps us to decentralize the token and get it to as many people as possible, really decentralizing the DAO. Now, that is kind of the reason why we're doing a Lockdrop. Now, you may be wondering what a Lockdrop actually is. So in our case, on Hedera, the main token is called the HBAR token, which is comparable to ETH on Ethereum, for example, in terms of the way that it's kind of the backbone of the network. So we basically created a Lockdrop pool in which HeliSwap is adding 20 million Heli. So Heli is the token that we're going to launch and use for governance, etc. And then over a period of 7 days, you as participants may deposit HBAR into this Lockdrop pool. Now, after the 7 days have passed, we then take all the deposited HBAR and the 20 million Heli tokens, merge them together into LP tokens, and then use it to bootstrap the liquidity on the DEX. Now, what's nice for participants is that we're actually matching your percentage of total HBAR contribution with the same percentage of the 20 million Heli. And then all of this vests back to you over a 3 months period, which there will be a claim page, and then each day more and more of the LP tokens vest. So in essence, what we're doing here is, rather than doing, for example, just an airdrop or a claim drop, or how other people may call it, which kind of just rewards for actions in the past, we are asking you guys to commit to HeliSwap for the future, for the next 3 months, kind of getting a future commitment, and you're being rewarded for it. So it's kind of like an airdrop or a claim drop for the future. At least that's how we like to look at it. And we think that with this approach, we will be very decentralized in getting Heli into the market. Now, last important piece of information is that we are going live with our Lockdrop on the 16th of February, and it's going to run until February 23rd. So pretty much from the recording of this video, there are around 8 days until we're starting with the Lockdrop.
I understand there is a 3-month vesting period. So how exactly does that work? Can they only claim LP tokens after 3 months?
So the vesting period, yes, it's okay. We had some
technical issues and just switching up the camera.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So here
Sorry about that.
So we do have a 3-month linear vesting period, which means that over those 3 months, there's the tokens are vesting back linearly. So let's say that for simplicity purposes, 3 months is 90 days. So after 30 days have passed, for example, 1/3 of all the LP tokens have vested, and we have a claim page within the DEX where you can go on the page, and then you could theoretically do it by the second, even though I don't think it makes a lot of sense. You can claim the tokens and then vest them back or claim them into your wallet, break them up, do whatever you like. And you may also decide, rather than just claiming them and breaking them up, you can also stake them directly into the yield farm that we're going to start in parallel on the HeliSwap DEX for the HBAR Heli liquidity pool, which is the one we're bootstrapping. So you can also enjoy some juicy APRs. Just got to say it's no investment advice. I'm just sharing our actual strategy.
Cool. And then, how do people actually participate, and how can they find more information about HeliSwap and the Lockdrop?
So we have announcement channel on Twitter, and we announce it on Twitter, and we also have announcement channel on Telegram and Discord. So please go follow us on that, and then we will be announcing the most up-to-date news on the Lockdrop and also upcoming roadmap that's happening. So please just follow us. And also for those who are dialing in, please drop your question on the YouTube live and also on Twitter or anywhere. We will be answering your question in real time.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do want to keep this two-way. So if you do have any questions, please drop them into one of the comments sections. I guess another question I think would be good to address is the Heli token. So what utility will it have, and how will it be used on the DEX?
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe I'll go for this question. So the Heli token is going to launch shortly after the Lockdrop period has ended. And with that, the Heli token is going to be out there in the market for everyone to partake in it and do with it as they please, so to say. But we as a team are obviously working very hard to build a lot of different use cases for the Heli token so that we organically create demand for it, that everyone wants to have a piece of it in order to use it on all the different aspects of the product that we're building. So initially what is going to happen is with the token, people will have governance rights and voting rights. So because after the Heli token is going to launch, we're also going to launch our DAO module. DAO stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. And that is simply a voting mechanism with no central governing body, but everyone that has a stake everyone that wants to have a stake can do so by owning Heli tokens, for example. And after the DAO, we're working on additional features that drive more utility and drive greater demand to it. Right. So one thing that is in the making and that we can also mention already is single-sided staking, for example, for the Heli token. Single-sided staking is very different than LP staking or liquidity provisioning, because single-sided staking in this essence means that you only provide one type of asset in order to provide liquidity, and that you can earn rewards for providing, again, a single asset versus two assets when you provide liquidity on a DEX, for example. And other things that we're working on, I do not want to, put forward too much here and then tell exactly what we're going to do, because a lot of it is actually still in stealth mode, and we really want to blast out the information once we know 100% that we can do it from a technical standpoint and that it also makes sense from the community. But like Ainsley said, I think it is just of utmost importance to stay up to date on all social media channels, because the community should and will play a big role in everything that the DEX is doing and will do. And therefore, we're definitely going to get community feedback and make everyone be an active part of all the decisions.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Adding to that, regarding the roadmap, today we have also published our roadmap on our official website, and it's already like posted on Twitter as well. So if you want to learn about what is happening on HeliSwap and what we are gonna do in 2023, please go check out that article.
So yeah, thank you guys. I think we have a really solid understanding of HeliSwap as well as the Lockdrop. I guess something the community may be interested in is, what are the kind of perks of joining the Lockdrop, and are there any kind of additional benefits of getting in early?
So in regards to the Lockdrop, there is no advantage or disadvantage of being joining on the first day or on the third day. And this is one of the nice things, because there are some other ways or methods of launching a token where if you're a first mover or you join in the second it goes live and you stay up all night, you kind of manage to get a financial advantage. In our case, since the pool is open for 7 days, it doesn't really matter when you contribute. The treatment for everyone is the same. So there's no difference in terms of how much you contribute, getting an added benefit for that, etc. Now, what is important to mention is that there are like some aspects to it, which is that on the first 5 days of the Lockdrop, you may actually deposit and withdraw your HBAR as many times as you like, and we show you on the website kind of what would be the current launch price of the Heli token if it were to launch now, depending on the HBAR commitment and the 20 million Heli. So that essentially means that you can adjust your position if you like. You can leave the Lockdrop entirely. You can put down more HBAR, and you kind of have this freedom to actually follow up on what's your expectation of us as a project and of the Heli token itself. Now, on day 6 and 7, you're not able to deposit any more tokens. You're only allowed to withdraw, which means that we're basically locking in a maximum price for Heli on the evening of the 5th day. And then if that is, for example, too high for you, or something has changed, or you need your HBAR, you may still withdraw. But on day 6, it's only 50%. And on day 7, it gradually decreases from 50% to 0. Now, it's important to note that in total on day 6 and 7 together, you can also only withdraw 1 time. So after day 5 passed, you really should think about what you're going to do and what you want to do, just to make sure you're aware and you're not hit by any surprises. Now, I'm going to touch briefly on why we're actually doing this process and why day 6 and 7 are different. So we have looked around and done a lot of research on Lockdrops on other ecosystems. And if you don't allow, or if you don't lock in the amounts on day 6 and 7, and you only allow for withdrawals, you basically run the risk of having a few whales who would come in and just deposit a really large amount of HBAR, much more than they're actually willing to commit, which would then increase the Heli price to a level that other users may not be comfortable in participating in. So they might refrain from participating. And then just before the Lockdrop would close and the token would launch, the whale would then withdraw the largest portion of their investment and then end up buying the Heli token at a much cheaper valuation, and also obtain a lot more Heli token relative to everyone else. So this doesn't sound very decentralized to us, which I've mentioned earlier. We really want to be as decentralized as possible with the token. And also we think that it undermines the potential of a natural price discovery, because it runs kind of in the area of price manipulation. So by kind of locking in the deposits on day 6 and 7 and only allowing for withdrawals, which are also gradually decreasing, you're kind of countering this risk of a few whales exposing or exploiting the project, and you actually end up reaching the right people, which are those that believe in HeliSwap, those that want to participate in the token, and that are not just in it to make a quick buck, but that actually really want to help us shape the future of this project and the DAO. So,
very cool. And you mentioned, Ainsley, the roadmap was launched earlier today. Can you talk a little bit about some of the kind of future collaborations and projects that you have lined up? Or I'll open the floor to anyone who wants to answer this.
So like for partnership and kind of thing, like we have because like on Hedera there's a lot of like NFT community there, so we have already like partnered with some of these to create NFT for HeliSwap. So the very first one would be the Dazzle Duck HeliSwap Duck that has already been dropped to everyone who has provided liquidity to us at a very early stage. That's our very first NFT collaboration with partners. And then there's like more partnerships coming up, but I don't want to like, drop too many names yet. So, but then there would be like a lot of like community and NFT things happening within our DEX. And also we would be also doing, once the like Heli token is live, then we'll be doing the hashpot integration as well. So Heli token would also be available like not only on Hedera chain, but that would be like down the line, but not so soon. That would be one of the partnership that we have already also announced already. So yeah.
Maybe just quickly to mention for everyone who's not so familiar with Hedera, the ecosystem is still growing and on the rise. So it's not really comparable to, for example, being on Polygon or Ethereum. So essentially, the nice thing about it is that also the amount of companies to partner with is a lot more concentrated. So we have really good partnerships with the two largest wallets, with the largest bridge, with the largest NFT projects. So essentially on Hedera, everyone is really connected and kind of working on a common goal, which is to attract more users to the ecosystem to grow it, right? So the partnerships that Ainsley is working on, they're working very smoothly in this field, and everyone's kind of speaking with each other. So it's kind of really nice. And I would say that the largest projects that are out there on Hedera, I think we're all in touch with them at least once per week. So
yeah, and one more thing, just because Ainsley also already mentioned the Dazzle Ducks NFTs. That has been an NFT that has been sent out to everyone from our community that has actively supported the DEX that we launched over the past months, right? So you might ask yourself like, ooh, that sounds, I'm having a little bit of FOMO or something right now. How can I get my hands on potentially the next series of NFTs that we're dropping, where we're already collaborating with a prominent NFT artist in the space, right, as well, a project. So we think about it two ways. On the one hand, we obviously are going to announce some giveaways online, where we are going to announce exactly what kind of criteria we're looking for. May it be trading volume, may it be resharing Twitter posts, adding your friends, all these kind of different things that I think the crypto degens or the crypto natives out there are pretty used to. But the other approach that we're also following is just randomly take snapshots at times that we will not announce in advance, because we really also want just to reward the people that are on our DEX because they want to be on our DEX and because they love the project, they like the team, they like the usability of the DEX, right? So it is twofold. So if you really want to cover the entire spectrum, it is best to be active and engage on the DEX just out of pure interest, but then also follow again the social media channels for updates and whatnot. And speaking, because it is like everything is a collaborative approach, we're also thinking and then going to go forward with rewarding everyone that has a Dazzle Duck NFT with Heli tokens that can be claimed in the future. So that being said, it definitely pays off to pay attention here and to get your fingers on future NFT series or other collaborations that we will announce or surprise you guys with. So definitely stay tuned on that.
Nice. Thank you for that, Andre. Looks like we received a question from the community. Why did you guys choose the Hedera hash graph to build on out of the networks? Someone want to take that one? So why did you choose Hedera?
Sure. I mean, in short, I would say the short answer is basically, like we mentioned before, there are a lot of big companies out there that are building on Hedera Hashgraph, right? So there must be a reason why all of them do not only engage in the test net and then drop it, right? But actually engage in the test net and then want to be part of the governing council of the Hedera ecosystem, of the Hedera Hashgraph. So that is definitely a strong selling point for the ecosystem. And the other thing is that all the ecosystems out there, may it be Ethereum or Arbitrum, Optimism, Solana and whatnot, including Hedera, is still very nascent and it is still very experimental. And we strongly believe in the future of the network as a network for the reasons that big companies believe in it, but also for reasons where we see a lot of potential, such as reliability, which is very important, the speed that it has, the transaction power that it possesses, because the transactions per second that the network itself can process are amazing and extremely high. I cannot put an exact number on it, but there is some sort of website where everyone can have a quick look and actually see it is higher than comparable networks. And the other thing is it is extremely cheap. Swaps on DEXs, extremely cheap. Transactions to send around cryptocurrencies, to mint NFTs, unforeseen cheap. So that really makes a difference. And I think we have all experienced on the Ethereum network, for example, where a very hyped NFT series was minted, for example, and then the gas wars started, right? And all of a sudden you had to pay 70 or 100 or 150 bucks for a potentially $50 NFT, just because everyone wanted to get their fingers on such an NFT. So there have been a lot of hyped NFT series already in the Hedera ecosystem space, where the demand for minting those NFTs, which was a lot higher than the supply of those NFTs. And in terms of gas wars, nothing happened, because again, it is very reliable and stable and constant in terms of pricing. So this is another thing where we see a huge potential and benefit for everyone that is going to use the network in the future.
Yeah, and then for those out there who may be focused a lot on the environment, Hedera Hashgraph is also one of the cleanest DLTs out there, especially compared to Ethereum. You remember like how a few months ago there was the big move to the proof of stake model and everyone talked about the energy being safe. Now Hedera uses a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of the actual energy usage of the bigger blockchains out there. So that's also just thinking ahead here into the future. It's kind of like, if I'm going to build, what am I going to build on? And there's obviously the choice to build on the established technology and the large ecosystems out there, but then there are also those who are a little bit forward thinking, and also kind of taking or considering some of those aspects that may become important in the future, both in terms of like political or environmental regulations. So Hedera, with the governing council, with the speed and also with this type of low energy usage, is kind of well prepared also to lead us into a journey. And we're not looking to build a project that's going to take 3 years and then slowly die out. We're trying to build something for the long term. So that also played a role in the decision.
Yeah, I have seen a lot of projects joining the Hedera ecosystem, so it's definitely a network that's up and coming. I think we'll take another question from the community.
Can I just add something here? Just
Yeah.
because you mentioned the point of seeing a lot of different projects coming into the space.
Yeah.
If any Solana project is watching this right now and thinking potentially to migrate onto the Hedera network, everyone is very lovely within this space. It's everyone helps everybody kind of approach here. So if you're interested in learning more, feel free to reach out to us, or obviously any other project out there. And we're also obviously willing and happy to connect you with other projects that potentially do something similar or could guide you into the Hedera network.
Sounds good. It's a nice invitation. So I think we'll take one more from the community. Again, it was about the roadmap. What are you guys most excited about for the, I guess, HeliSwap future?
Sure. shall everyone just pick one to say what they're most excited about? Because I'm thinking everyone is probably excited about something different.
Okay, let me start. So there are some things that we are working on currently, which, as Andre mentioned earlier, are kind of in stealth mode, and we don't really want to throw it out there because maybe there's some things that are not going to happen next week, but a little bit down the line. So something that is publicly announced and that I'm really looking forward to is actually the launch of the DAO, because basically the DAO is ready. There are just some small things, let's say, that we're adjusting. And LimeChain, shout out to you guys, has done a tremendous job building out a DAO system that doesn't just have like a nice user experience and look and feel, but that also we think is easy enough and engaging enough to really create proper usage. And there are some DAOs out there that are kind of struggling to actually get proposals in, to get people to vote, etc. So I'm really excited to see how the Hedera users will actually adapt to our DAO, because it's also a very community-driven ecosystem. So I'm very positive on that, and I'm really looking forward to be engaged there, to understand also what you guys, or those who already engage with Hedera, what you actually want, or what you want from HeliSwap. And it would be great to get some help also in the decision making. So that's my number one.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. I mean, obviously it sounds pretty cool. Yeah, for me personally, I'm currently the most excited about the Lockdrop concept that Max explained previously. And I think what really excites me about it is two things. The first thing is that this is a novelty in the Hedera space. So Lockdrops is not necessarily something new, but it is the first of its kind on the Hedera ecosystem, and the way that we manufactured it and then put it forward into the space, I think is something that is throughout the different ecosystems very novel, or a novelty for sure, actually. So I'm very curious to see how that is going to play out. And the second thing is, or the second part that really engages me about the Lockdrop, is that the pricing of the Heli token, for example, is completely out of our control, right? So whatever is going to happen between the 16th and the 23rd of February is completely community driven. It is not up to us what is going to happen. It is up to you guys that are listening in, that are potentially watching a recap of this, or that have just closely followed HeliSwap, the DEX, and the team behind it. So I'm just very curious to see how all of this is going to play out, and what is going to happen over the course of the next couple days or weeks, actually. And yeah, that is my kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I think for me, I'm very enjoy being within the Hedera community, and to building this relationship, because I would see ourselves being more active in all the Hedera event in the coming years. Because there's one we did with Hedera in Hong Kong, because we are all based in Hong Kong. So when we will launch it, we did an event with Hedera called Hedera Heatwave in Hong Kong. So I would hope down the roadmap and down the line, we will be hosting more events in the name of HeliSwap, and also with the help of all different Hedera community. Add on to that, for those Mantra or HeliSwap community who based in Hong Kong, we will be having our launch party on 16 in one of the club, one of the crypto club. Can I say that, crypto private club in Hong Kong called Club DAO, to host our launch party. So whoever that is in Hong Kong, please join us in Club DAO. We would be announcing more information around that on our Telegram and Twitter as well. So yeah, I would love to see more collaboration and synergy happening within the Hedera ecosystem.
Yeah. So save the date. It's next Thursday at Club DAO.
Yep. And we will all be there.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Cool. Looks like we got another question from a user, B Sugarman. What future articles have you got planned for the website? It's a good one.
Oh, yeah, sure. Plenty of articles. Appreciate that you are reading the articles and also taking the time to inform yourself. Love it. So I think the goal here is to really push out various articles actually that relate on how to DeFi, how to use the DEX, how to just cruise around the ecosystem in a safe manner without giving away your seed phrase, without losing access to your funds, without becoming a victim, a scam victim, and potentially never being able to access any of your crypto currencies. And that is simply because we heard obviously there are a lot of crypto degens out there and crypto natives, but there are also a lot of people that are newcomers into the space. So we kind of want to put forth a lot of educational material that allows everyone to learn in a safe manner on how to interact. I think the most recent, apart from the roadmap that we published, the most recent ones were how to use a hashback wallet, how to set it up, how to store your seed phrase securely, and also explain what a seed phrase is. And yeah, so I mean, just stay tuned. There's a lot more educational content coming out. And obviously, if you have any particular wish or want to see a particular topic covered, feel free, to drop a message in Telegram or in Discord, and I can assure you that will be read and taken care of, and we will do our best to publish something along those lines and also cover the topic that really interests you.
Great. Yeah, I think it's good. This space definitely needs more educational content that'll help users, invest more safely in the space. There's definitely a lot of scams going on, so I think any content that mitigates that is appreciated by the community. So there's another question regarding the OHM snapshot. So for that, I would direct you to the original announcement. Can't remember, I think it went out on Discord or Telegram, but I would refer you to that announcement. And yeah, I think we're not getting any more questions from the listeners. Are there any closing thoughts that anyone wants to add?
Well, just from our side, since this is hosted by Mantra, a big thank you from us as well, because we know that you guys have been supporting our project. We've been able to bridge over the OHM token quite early on after launching, creating liquidity pools on HeliSwap, which have a substantial amount of money actually inside. So we are really grateful for you guys out there, and we would hope to see, of course, more of you make the journey over, try out our product, so you can convince yourselves that it's actually good tech and it's good work. And yeah, once again, thank you from our side for A, tuning in, and B, also for being a supporter of HeliSwap. We're very excited about that.
Right. And yeah, of course, thank you all for sharing all the insights today about the Lockdrop. I'll definitely be participating. Of course, we hope to see Sherpas joining as well. Of course, not financial advice. It's always do your own research, and I'll refer you to the articles that have been published by HeliSwap, because they are very informative. And I think that's a wrap. So thank you everyone for tuning in. And don't forget, next Thursday, the Lockdrop starts, and join us in Club DAO if you're in Hong Kong.
Yep.
See you soon.
See you. Bye.
Bye.